Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of today. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed, MGT.
I'm Colonel AUC3I, an infantry officer. Between November 15th and 21st, the armed forces of the Russian Federation executed 6 large-scale precision strike campaigns in retaliation for Ukrainian attacks on Russian civilian infrastructure. Using long-range air, sea, and land-based weapons, including unmanned systems and hypersonic-capable munitions, Russia targeted Ukraine's military-industrial facilities, fuel and energy hubs, transportation arteries, drone assembly centers, and foreign mercenary bases. These strikes were synchronized with sustained ground operations across all 6 operational groupings: North, West, South, Center, East, and Dnipro, marking one of the most comprehensive combined arms offensives since early autumn.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel AUC3I, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel AUC3I, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel, to start off, what's the overall picture as of November 21st? The reports describe 6 coordinated strike waves. How should we understand the scope of this week's operations?
That's correct. The week's operations represent one of the most synchronized campaigns we've seen this quarter. Between the 15th and the 21st, Russian forces conducted 6 large-scale precision strikes, each targeting a different segment of Ukraine's military-industrial and logistical network. These weren't isolated attacks, they were phased operations coordinated across air, sea, and land domains. The objective was twofold: first, to cripple Ukraine's capacity to sustain long-range operations, and second, to set the conditions for encirclement and consolidation on the ground. The strikes hit energy nodes, drone production centers, rail junctions, and storage facilities that feed the front lines. At the same time, ground forces advanced in step, ensuring that the damage inflicted at the strategic level translated into tactical advantage. In essence, this week showcased how Russia's campaign has evolved from attritional engagements into integrated warfare.
Let's begin with the northern sector, around Sumy and Kharkiv. What developments are most significant there?
The North Group has been consolidating gains along the Sumy-Kharkiv axis. They improved their tactical positions, targeting several Ukrainian mechanized, Ranger, and airborne assault brigades in the border regions. 2 settlements, Kupyansk and Sahelm, were liberated after sustained close-quarters fighting. From a doctrinal perspective, this area is about corridor control and interdiction. By securing this northern belt, Russia is reducing Ukraine's ability to launch cross-border diversions or reinforce other fronts. The losses were considerable for Ukraine, over 1,100 personnel, with multiple armored and artillery assets destroyed. What stands out here is the logistical efficiency. Russian forces maintained a steady supply rhythm across complex terrain while employing layered artillery fires and EW suppression to neutralize Ukrainian counterbattery capabilities. It's a textbook example of sustainment under active contact, maintaining pressure while conserving force.
So, this isn't a push for a deep offensive northward, it's more about securing the flank?
Exactly. The intent here is stabilization, not expansion. The north sector is designed to anchor the upper edge of the theater, allowing greater freedom of maneuver in the western and central sectors where the decisive action is unfolding. A seamless combination of deep strike precision and forward maneuvering by combined arms units.
That brings us to the western sector, particularly Kupyansk. The reports say the city is now fully under Russian control. What's the significance of that?
The liberation of Kupyansk marks a major operational success. For months, it has been the logistical heart of Ukraine's eastern supply network. Everything from artillery ammunition to troop rotations moved through that corridor. By seizing the city and clearing the left bank of the Oskol River, Russia effectively severed one of Ukraine's main supply arteries into Donbass. The West Group didn't stop there. They liberated Novoselivka, Stavky, Masliakovka, Yampil, and Petropavlivka. The fighting was intense but deliberate, prioritizing the destruction of Ukrainian command posts and EW infrastructure. With 58 electronic warfare systems and nearly 30 depots destroyed, Ukraine's ability to coordinate defense in this area has been deeply degraded. This is a strategic gain rather than a symbolic one. It means that Russia now commands both the terrain and the tempo across the Kharkiv-Donetsk axis.
And in the south, specifically in Donetsk, we're hearing about the liberation of Platonivka. What happened there?
Yes, Platonivka's capture is significant because it serves as a pivot point between the lower Donetsk plains and the Kramatorsk defensive zone. The South Group executed combined mechanized and airborne operations against multiple Ukrainian brigades, mechanized, mountain assault, airmobile, and marine formations. The results were decisive: over 1,100 Ukrainian personnel lost, along with a large number of armored vehicles, artillery guns, and depots. But beyond the statistics, the key here is positional superiority. The South Group now holds high ground and firing lines over several critical supply arteries leading to Slavyansk and Kramatorsk. In doctrinal terms, this move sets the stage for envelopment through positional dominance, achieving control not just through occupation, but through superior fields of fire and interdiction.
Let's shift to the central sector, where fighting continues around Krasnoarmysk and Dmitrov. How would you describe the situation there?
This remains one of the most kinetic sectors. The Center Group continues to execute what can be called a deep urban encirclement in Krasnoarmysk and Dmitrov. The 2nd Army and 51st Army are coordinating multi-axis assaults, one sector tightening around trapped Ukrainian formations in the industrial zones, another pushing from the southern districts. Over the past week, more than 3,100 Ukrainian troops have been neutralized in this area. Multiple breakout attempts by the 35th Marine Brigade and other units failed. The Russian approach is deliberate: isolate, suppress, and dismantle resistance through precision fires and infantry sweeps. What's important here is not just the territory, it's the degradation of Ukraine's mid-level command structure. Urban fighting draws heavily on unit cohesion and decentralized leadership. By systematically cutting communications, Russia is eroding the Ukrainian ability to fight in coordinated blocks.
Would you say this represents the culmination of the encirclement phase in Donetsk?
It's not yet complete, but it's approaching the decisive point. Once Krasnoarmysk and Dmitrov are fully secured, the entire Central Front will become a staging base for the next operational cycle.
Now to the East and Dnipro sectors, several settlements were reported liberated there as well. What's the operational intent in these southern corridors?
The East Group continued advancing through the Dnipropetrovsk and Zaporizhia regions, liberating Gai, Nechivka, Radistnoy, and Veselo. These actions reflect the push to erode Ukraine's interior defensive belt, not just along the contact line but across supporting logistical depth.
And if the Dnipro Group for forces?
The Dnipro Group, meanwhile, captured Malaya Takmachka after coordinated drone-assisted assaults. This was an operation designed to dominate the river corridor and suppress long-range fires that threaten Crimea and Zaporizhia positions. The destruction of over 70 electronic warfare and supply facilities across both fronts has left Ukraine's southern flank increasingly vulnerable. Together, these movements form the southern containment arc, preventing Ukrainian redeployments and ensuring sustained Russian initiative across the entire front.
Finally, can you tell us about the aerospace and naval operations this week?
Yes. Air and missile forces destroyed HIMARS and MLRS launchers, targeted long-range drone hubs, and hit energy infrastructure used for military sustainment. Air defense systems intercepted an impressive range of threats: ATACMS, Storm Shadow, Neptune, and over 1,000 UAVs, demonstrating growing integration between radar, EW, and kinetic interceptors. At sea, the Black Sea Fleet neutralized unmanned Ukrainian boats, preserving sea lane denial dominance in the northeastern Black Sea. These layered operations reinforce the idea that the campaign is not limited to ground combat, it's a multi-domain contest of endurance and precision.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. This reporting period reflects Russia's transition to synchronized multi-domain warfare, combining kinetic precision with attritional encirclement. The liberation of Kupyansk, Platonivka, and Malaya Takmachka indicates progressive regional consolidation and logistical superiority. Destruction of Ukraine's EW networks and industrial fuel nodes will further degrade command and control resilience and sustainment capacity during winter. The tactical emphasis on encirclement, supported by deep strikes and UAV saturation, points toward a strategy designed to paralyze maneuver rather than achieve rapid territorial gains. If this pace continues, Ukraine's ability to sustain coordinated counteroffensives may erode before the winter of 2025 to 2026 fully sets in.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive Frontline updates from commanders in theater.